Hey, gentlemen, what did you say? What? It's time for my recap. Well, here we go. So, this is my recap for June, let's say the 14th, June 14th, 2020, in Legends. Alright, so this session was amazing. Like the last session was amazing. I don't even know. I don't be knowing where to start with a situation. I guess the beginning is always best. So, where I left off in my last session before this one was I was on my way to see Ali because I have to talk to her about helping me find refuge for Ariel because we have Ariel as a secret spy on the Darwin's legacy. And we strongly believe that she's been made and found out. So we have to find a way to keep her safe. And what other better place than the White Lighter? So I'm on my way to go see Ali and trying to figure out if Ali will basically keep her safe there. So uh so I get there, I get to Ali. She told me to meet her in Locke's office. So when I get there, she's in Locke's office and she's whew, she's like doing her thing. Like it's cool to see Ali because like Ali has already have she's already been doing like some of Locke's work. Like Locke will like ask her like her not her opinions, but he will ask her like to make decisions, and then she will then he will have everybody follow behind that decision. Um, it's to the point now she's making the decisions, but he's putting his name on the decision so people will follow. So so it's kind of cool to see her in this whole situation, like in Locke's office, which possibly will be her future office. And so, we talk about that a little bit. Then I get to a more of a heart to heart conversation because the tension between her and Tani, like I understand that Tani hurt her, but I kind of broke it down and I kind of broke it down and told her that this is a time where instead of instead of being mad at Tani for her withholding some truths from her, this could also be a learning point for Tani to show her why she shouldn't have held it from her. Like to kind of reinforce like that I'm really here for you and all this other good stuff. So the funniest thing that she said was that as I was saying it, she's like, like she basically compared me to Psychic, to Mr. Blaze. So I love that. And basically, so after we're talking, or in the middle of our conversation, Locke pops up. He comes into his office and she makes the joke like, "Whoa, whoa! Like I don't have a meeting with you." So they joke, but he says like, "I need you." And when he says "I need you," I'm thinking he's talking about Ollie. So I say, "Who, me?" I'm just being Joe because I don't even think that he knows I exist or who I am. And when I say "Who, me?" and I point to myself, he says, "Yes, you." So I'm like, "Wait a minute, Locke really needs me for something? Like, what could I possibly do that Locke needs me with, like, or for?" Like, that's like I was telling the DM, I feel almost like it's like Locke is Diddy, right? Like he's Puff Daddy, and I'm like me, and he like needs Keith Holmes to do something. Like he could get any and everyone. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my back in the world to do whatever, but he's asking me to do it. So I'm like, okay, like not a problem. So he breaks down like the little mission we got going on. Like it's a mission. Number one, like me and Locke are going on a mission together, and it's not. It's like because I just assumed that I need you to do something. I just assumed that it'll be one of those things where he's like, I need you to go here to do this. I didn't think it would be like an intimate hangout mission, like where we bond and stuff like that. Like I help him out with something, and he's actually there to see that I how I handled it. And did, like he was there. So the mission basically is that we're going to this place called it's a ship called uh the castle, and I guess Locke has I guess he kind of there's a bunch of different ships all over, and I guess that he's the person who like I guess he manages all these ships. He's like they call him the admiral. So this is one particular ship called the Castle, and on the castle there's a bunch of vampires. Like it's controlled by vampires. So come to find out that once you get to the hierarchy of the vampires, they run in houses. So on the castle, the name of the house that's on the castle that's ran by hold on, let me pull it up. Is yeah, the house on the castle is called the House of the Rising Light, and that is led by a vampire named Deacon Frey, Frey. For anybody who's trying to write it down, Deacon Frey. Um, like the thing with Deacon is he's like it's to the point where these vampires they're like different. They're like Zen Infinity level dangerous vampires, and because there also are also other vampires who are more dangerous than Zen Infinity. There's a vampire named Wrath who who's just scary as hell. And actually, as Zen Infinity, Wrath was a vampire that hunts vampires basically, but he hunts the upper echelon of vampires. So he was actually um trying to kill Zen Infinity at a time. And I don't believe at the time that there was anything that I could honestly do against Wrath. Um, and there was another vampire named Envy. So I'm putting together that there might be a group of these guys. If one name is Wrath and the other one name is Envy, there might be a couple more out here somewhere that deals with those maybe like seven of them, the seven deadly sins type of thing. I'm not sure. I didn't get that information, but I kind of tried to piece that together outside of the game. Um, but they're like their power level is probably around. I'm assuming because they are like the kind of people that are like world shattering power levels, like scary. And I'm trying to think why the DM pointed that out to me. So I'm thinking that they might be probably that either high four or five level or beyond. I'm not sure. I can't really fathom anything being beyond five, but like yeah. So I'm assuming that there have to be around the five level. This is why because I hang out with Ali and she's on the four level. So the when the DM tells me like, yeah, this person is this destructive and powerful, and he referenced something that's high, like basically that's high, it has to be something that normally I'm normally not around. It has to be something that's higher than when I'm not around. So I'm always around Ali. He didn't say that the threat was kind of comparable to Ali, so I'm assuming it's bigger than Ali, and she's a four. So that's where I got that idea from. All right, where else we go? I kind of lost track. So, all right. So yeah. So back to the castle. So let me give you a description of the castle. Really, it's fucking huge, large saucer type of ship. It's like a saucer. However, It's like kind of like a bubble on top of a saucer, or like a dome. Yeah, dome. A dome on top of a saucer. So we're flying up to it. We like hit like we go through like that little like we're like flying through space for a minute. Then we hit like hyperspeed and do all that thing. So when we get there, like we're about to fly, it's like we're about to crash into the field around it, but we just fly straight through that bubble field thing, the dome. We fly through it, and we're greeted by three people when we get to the castle. One of them's the guy that I mentioned to you already, Deacon Frey. He seems like he's like when once you see him, you look at him, like the way that he's dressed is kind of like he's the leader. Like he has a really high collar, like on everything like that. He pretty much seems like this is his shit basically. To his behind him on his right is a guy named, let me see. Hold on. I wrote this down somewhere. Okay. Vincent Thorn. Um Vincent Thorn. Like they all like kind of seem like vampires, but except for the third one, really. But Vincent Thorn, he looks like he's kind of covered in how would you say, he's covered in like armor, and on one of his shoulders, I'm not sure if it's both, but on one of his shoulders I know there's a, I think it's his right one. Like the way his armor is, that's my right one. So yeah, the way his armor is like, it's like kind of like a phoenix, like kind of engraved into his armor. And so if you ever come across a guy that has a weird engraving of a phoenix in his armor on his right shoulder, more than likely is Vincent Thorn. The third one that's on the behind Deacon Frey, but on his left side is a gentleman by the name of Grotto. And Grotto is basically he's the size of the Incredible Hulk, but he has like gray skin, and he has on a, see, I think he has like a suit, basically, like a really well customized suit. Like imagine James Bond suit, or somebody tailoring a suit this size that's perfectly fit for the Hulk, but it was the same tailor that tailored James Bond suit. It was that nice of a suit on a Hulk like body. So so basically, after we do the pleasantries. Oh, there's something about Deacon Frost that even though he's not there to kind of like hurt me, something about him is giving me like this crazy danger sense. Like it's affecting my sense. And I'm gonna tell you the people who are with me. It's not just me and Locke. It's me, Locke. Um, Kyrie might know this guy. His name is Welk. Welk. Welk, and he's like a close friend of Locke. And also Samantha, also known as Sam, who works for Locke. And like I said in my previous um recap, Sam's like an analyst, researcher, like a scientist type of person. I guess she's Locke's like right hand scientist, like number one scientist. So she's here with us to kind of help with the mission. So after everybody gets pleasantries, Sam and Deacon actually kind of flirt with each other a little bit. The reason why Welk is here, Welk I think has a girlfriend or a girl that he really likes or that likes him also, here at the castle. So that's why. That's the only reason why Locke had Welk come, because he knew that he would want to come, because that's his homie and that's his girl. So yeah. So when we get there, Welk just leaves. He leaves and go to find his girl, whatever, so they can spend some time together. Um, so the rest of us, so the six of us, goes to go to this room. So let me tell you what the mission is. Basically, what's going on is they have captured another vampire, the leader of another house. And the house that this woman is the lead of, well, first her name is Cordelia Cross, and she's the leader of the House of Abyss, or of the Abyss. And she basically was captured by them and called for called for Deacon Strauss Superior because she had information to give. And they needed me to figure out, use my truth telling ability to see if what she's saying is actually true or not. So we do that. Bam. Like, so they show me, so Sam, like, wow, so are we on our way and everything like that. We get to this room. And it's kind of like the police interrogation thing where like you're in one room, another person's in another room, and like there's a glass that you can see through or whatever. But this glass is like nothing you can see through. It's like a black screen or something. And then like, when it's time to talk to the person, like it cuts on and you can see them but they can't see you. But the kind of like the DOS on this chick, they show her like she's in like they show like not like where she is now, but they show like a picture of her and she's on like a battlefield. Imagine like the Terminator futuristic war battlefield, but there's no robots around. And she's just standing like with I say like she has like six different swords or they like sword handles, like kind of like sticking not out her back, like she's like that's how she carries them. So imagine like Leonardo swords, like the two cross swords, but it being like six of them back there going all around, covering his back. So it's like that, and she's standing on top of a bunch of like broken bones and skulls and everything. And so that was like the picture of her. So she's like very capable, very dangerous. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So we get to the room. So we're in the room, and they start the process, and they're basically questioning her. I got my ability, truth telling thing going. So she's so like her and Locke are talking, and she's basically telling Locke that she has information about Kyle, Locke's twin brother, and how to like she knows where he is, she can save him, all this other stuff. Most of it is BS, but she knows something, but she's not giving up. Like she's not telling like the whole truth on stuff. So basically, Locke's like forget that, and he kind of like basically he's like this is BS whatever, and we end up like leaving and everything like that. So I'm sorry, my girl just woke up, and I'm afraid she's gonna come down the steps soon and ruin this thing I got going on. So anywho, so we leave, and we were going back to the White Lighter. So we make it back to the White Lighter, and Locke telling me to follow him. I'm like, all right, cool. I get to have a long time with Locke. No homo. This will be fun. So he tells me like we go back to his office, and he walks out the room, and he's like, hey, he's like, so what intentions do you have with Ali? Like, what are your plans with Ali, basically? So I was like, what? Like, he's like, no, I know you're not trying to like date Ali, nothing like that, but like, it's like, what are your plans? And I'm like, I'm trying to be what she is to you. Kind of try to be like one of those figures to her. And then I give him the same quote that I've been passing around from last session with Ogoro about like being one of the fingers. When closer fit to be stronger. I'm trying to be that to her. And so Locke pulls out this case and he sits it on the table or his desk, one of those. And he's like, he basically like, I want to give you something. And I'm like, okay, like I'm shocked because like this is Locke talking to me and he's giving me something. So Locke, he basically decides to give me a a sword, his old sword, and this sword is so dope. It comes with a Aeon in it. A Aeon, a Aeon, a Aeon. A Aeon is like a summons, but the summons grows with you. So as you develop, the summons develops, and it's like bonded to you. So the sword has this thing, has this thing where Locke has to sign it over to me, basically, like a blood sign. So he pricks his finger, signs it over to me. I had to prick my finger, sign it. I was impressed because the pen was able to prick Locke's finger. That's great. Like he's in his Super Saiyan 4 form, and the pen is able to prick his finger. That's how strong this damn like the stuff that this sword and everything is made out of. So I basically signed my life away for the sword. He tells me he gives me like the reason on like basically he's saying like I would have passed this sword down to Ali, but because of me being a swordsman, he think it would be better for it to be with me, someone who could also have her back. And he was made the whole statement like we need like we need to train people like me now to be ready to have our backs and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of where the it stopped after like I signed it. I felt the bond with the sword and everything. The sword was bonded to me. I could feel it. I could feel the case was bonded to me. The sword is pretty large. If anyone wants to see it, I don't have a problem showing it. I have a picture of it. Um, and it's pretty large. It's like the size of Cloud's Buster sword. It's a little smaller than that. So like you can't wear it on your hip. You have to wear it on your back. Like yeah. And I felt like there's a little. So now I'm getting closer to really being a Psykid. Like I got a little summons thing inside of me and everything. So yeah, that's where my session went on pause. I was receiving the sword and the case from Locke in his office on the White Lighter.